the name Raymond on all our bottles. And that the reason was in 2009 when Jean-Charles purchased the property, we kept the name Raymond. The reason was Roy Raymond was so well known in Napa Valley, in the valley. He purchased this property in 1969. Planted vines here. There were no vines. He pulled out the fruit trees, planted the vines here. It takes about 4 to 5 years for grapes to do well, and so his first harvest was 1974. Was when he, okay, now I can pull these grapes and do something. But going a little bit further back, where did this all start with? Roy Raymond was 17 years old when he started working at Beringer Winery. Now Beringer Winery is down the street, it's very close. I don't know if have you had a chance to go there or no? You just passed it probably. Really fun to go there. It's one of the old wineries. It's been, around forever. I have a photo in the back over there that I want to just show you. It's not a Hollywood photo, it's actually a real photo. And this was taken in 1933. Now, do you know what happened in 1933? December 5th, 1933, Prohibition ended. Okay. So, there were 4 wineries in Napa, or in this area, I should say, that could make wine. They were allowed to make wine. What were the reasons to be allowed to make wine? There was a couple of reasons that we could do that. Does anybody know?
Medicinal.
Thank you. Medicinal. Then medicinal Merlot. Here we go. And so the other reason was the church. So there were 4 wineries, Beringer being one of them, and we called those bonded wineries. And if you end up looking at that photo later, you'll see it says bonded up there. And Beringer was one of them. So everybody ended up joining the church. Yeah? Everybody was like, I'm going to church, because they could get wine, right? And so they were allowed to. But so Roy Raymond is 17 years old and starts working there. He's not doing a fun job. He's cleaning the cellars. Not very fun, right? The dirty cellars, and he's doing that. And while he's there, he falls in love with the granddaughter of the owner, Beringer. Falls in love. She falls in love with him. So that's a pretty good start to things, right? They fall in love. She's a little bit younger, and they're like, oh my God, we want to get married. And yeah, of course, you know how the story goes. They want to get married, and a couple of years later, they get married. 2 or 3 years later, they get married, and the grandfather, who was a big shot, up there, he's like, well, you're not going to be cleaning the cellars. I want you to become a winemaker, which was the most prestigious job at that point. And he basically teaches him the ropes to become a winemaker. So he does that. Slowly he moves up the ranks, becomes the head winemaker at Beringer. So if you were to go to Beringer today, you would see a picture of Roy Raymond on the wall there as one of the head winemakers. For about 40 years, he continues being the winemaker, the head winemaker there. 40 years or so. In 1969, Nestle, the chocolate company, comes and buys Beringer. They needed to pay some taxes and stuff. They needed the money, and they had to sell, right? And so Nestle buys, fantastic. Not so fun for Roy Raymond and Marcia Jane. They're like, you know what? We don't want to live. We don't want to work for a corporation. We need to go and find our own little area, right? They start looking, they find 90 acres right here where we are, 90 acres. And it's all those fruit trees and fig trees and all that fun. And they pull it and they plant the vines. And as you remember, I said 1974, the first harvest occurs. Now, fast forward a little bit more. 1998, we lose Roy Raymond. He passes away, unfortunately. He has 2 boys, Roy Jr. and Walter. And they continue doing what they're doing. But eventually they're like, you know what, we want to go play some golf. Enough is enough, right? And so when they sell it, they're going to sell it to a French gentleman by the name of Jean-Charles Boisset. And as I'll show you his photos everywhere, and he basically is doing the California side. His family comes from a large winemaking family, basically, of winemakers. Hold on to your glasses. I've still got some wine for you that we're walking with. And so he started the California side. He's already bought 2 other wineries. He's got Deloche in the town of Santa Rosa, and he's got Buena Vista in the town of Sonoma. This is the 3rd one. This is Raymond. As I said, we kept the name. On all 3, we've kept the name. But guess what? Now Jean-Charles has started his own line, and they are called the JCB line. Here is a bottle for you to look at. That is really a good example. And the JCB line stands for Jean-Charles Boisset. Now he has beautiful bubbles, sparkling wines that actually they are imported from France, a lot of them, and they're going to have numbers on them. With that said and done, we have one JCB lounge here on property that you would make an appointment for. But the good news is, in Yountville, which is 6 miles away, we have a tasting room and we have a JCB lounge that you can walk into. So if you decide you'd like to do that, we're open till 7. Over there, you can definitely go do that. And then we've got one at the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco. We also bought Wattle Creek in San Francisco in Ghirardelli Square. It's another little winery. Just eating them all up, creating. He's very much an entrepreneur. So, fantastic. What I'm going to do, bring my wines and we'll go walk around, do a little loop outside.